covering all your favorite parts of the 50-yard fight. This is the Inside the Walls podcast with Zach Kyleman and Jim Mernier.
Welcome in one and all, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest edition of the Inside the Walls podcast, our very next edition of Turf Talk, as we bring in our special guest. I mean, it's not even really a special guest. He's a regular on this show at this point.
He's the third co-host.
He's got his own usual. I mean, he comes in. We know what we're getting, and we're glad to have him back on. I don't think we expect him to have him on in this capacity. It's Mason Espinosa of the Columbus Lions joining us once again. Which, hey, Mason, good to have you on as always. Glad to see you back in the ring once more, finding time to balance the two lives. Now, Coach Espinosa on the side. How's it going for you lately?
Man, first of all, I appreciate you guys having me. As always, it's fun. I feel like this is my second home. I should get like a little something on the logo at this point. With how many times I've been on.
Maybe put the backwards baseball cap on the Lion for a game.
Love it. I'm all in.
We'll get Josh on that. We'll ask around.
I'm all in. No, it's awesome. What a blessing. Obviously, I'm having a blast up here in just west Indianapolis, Greencastle, technically the town, up in DePaul. Man, we're working hard. We're getting ready for the season. Our kids report here soon. And you know what, man, arena football never leaves your veins. So figure we'd strap it up for one last go round. Yeah,
I guess not. And, you actually brought up a point to us here that I didn't even realize. And quite frank, I'm gonna be honest. I know DePaul down the road. I know, of course, the Monon Bell game between Wabash. It's very much talked about in historical college football game in Indiana. Brett Dietz, though, I didn't realize the arena connection as well there until you brought it up. And then, of course, I went back, and folks that probably were AFL days that watch the show go, "Oh yeah, I know Brett Dietz." So tell us about Coach Dietz here. I understand you guys kind of connected over the arena aspect right out of the bat.
Absolutely. Coach Dietz, for anybody that doesn't know, was an absolute dog. He was I was actually watching one of his old games in the office on YouTube the other day. He was the AFL Rookie of the Year in the mid 2000s. Had a career in the AFL until the bankruptcy cut it short. He was like they gave the stat on the broadcast. He was like the fastest quarterback ever to 200 touchdowns or something crazy. My man was an absolute dog. So we connect over arena football. I've seen his highlight tape. He took me through it play by play. And we have a lot of fun talking about it. And that was actually our first ever conversation was about arena football. Even before we even, talked about outdoor football, or even talked about coaching, it was about arena football. So that fraternity, it's tight, it's close knit, and it doesn't really matter when you played. When you talk, people that have played it for a while love it. So actually, now that I think about it, our offensive line coach was actually an arena football guy as well. He played for the played for the Tri-Cities Fever, using the CFL for a little bit. So we have 3 guys with arena connects on the staff, oddly enough. So arena football is everywhere.
Not bad.
So how's recruiting? What's how that going on? I know that's a new aspect of, as you as a player, now you're a coach, you got to do recruiting. How is it to go into these kids' houses or live stream or view Zoom? I don't know how college recruiting is on your level compared to, FSU and Ohio State. How's recruiting? How's that aspect?
It's awesome so far. I love it. It's obviously different than, from the player role to being the coach role, but we're a high academic, we're a top 50, institution in America. So we're very high academic. We compete for those kids. So it's been a lot of fun, reaching out to those elite level student athletes, especially for us, right? That student definitely has to come first for us. Not a lot of NFL prospects are coming from DePaul. There's no secret, but we're looking for those future doctors, those future lawyers, those future surgeons, those politicians that, want a top flight, top 50 college experience, but also want to win conference championships and win college football games at the same time. So it's been really fun reaching out to those kids, learning about those kids and showing them what we got at DePaul. I mean, we have you guys haven't been on campus, but we're gonna have to have you on sometime. We have an unbelievable product. The campus is absolutely beautiful. We were nationally ranked last year. We were in the Sweet 16 of the NCAA playoffs.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's a great product to sell. It's easy to be a recruiter, be a salesman when you got a great product. We as long as we get kids on campus, they get to kind of see the magic. So it's been a lot of fun so far.
That's awesome. And yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to definitely make a trip over, like I said, Indianapolis. I mean, I talk on the show all the time how it's like I'm in the middle of nowhere for stuff with the NAL, but I'm talking this, and I'm definitely it's in my backyard. So I'll meet up. Definitely want to talk to you, Coach Dietz. Pass along to him. I want to take a chat with him.
100%.
I definitely would pick his brain about the AFL.
Yeah, absolutely. He'd love it too. He loves talking about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, glad to see that. And now I think a lot of people kind of assumed you were in the coaching scene, you had moved on. Now credit, I mean, I guess this is the arena, this is NAL. Anyone's free to come back. I mean, your own one of your own colleagues on the Cobras came back out of retirement too, and you had to face him last week for at least a half. So, anything's possible. But you were on the roster technically still, and that was something that was clarified. I know there were a few people asking, well, how is he here? And you hinted at us about returning, we couldn't say it publicly at the time, but you've been on the roster all season, just in a different capacity, at length, inactive for most of it up until 2 weeks ago.
Yes. Yeah. So that was I guess a pleasant surprise from my end once we all confirmed that this was going down. Coach dropped the bomb that he's like, hey, I never took you off the roster. I just made you inactive every week. So I'm like,
so you're telling me you didn't even know?
It was one of those things where it's not like I didn't know, but I guess I never really considered it because, of course, like up until the basically report day of camp, I thought I was playing arena football. So you check the transactions every day and you do all that stuff. So I was still in that mode, and I noticed that I never really saw my name, but I was like, okay, well, maybe just slip by the goalie, slip by the commissioner, whatever. And it turns out that, of course, man, Jason Gibson, the king of the long game, he sees in the future somehow always, and he was playing the long game there on all of us.
So you're telling me that we knew something that you didn't know?
It sounds like it, man. You guys got me. Yeah, you guys got me.
I guess.
Yeah, because we interviewed Gibson a couple of weeks ago, midway through the season. He's like, he told us disclose off the screen. He's like, yeah, I just wanted to give you FYI, he's still active. He's not off the roster. We're like, okay, this ain't going to happen. So we just pushed it to the side, and 6 weeks later, get the text message from you. We're like, really? Really? We had to ruin the Sharks fun. We were driving, we're about to get going, and yeah, I'm kind of back. Don't say anything. Why? and then the next week we get sources to tell us about Grady, Joe Hillis, Malachi Jones. And we're like, well, this ain't. Well, who's Jacksonville signing? Come on. And then Jackson was just like, we're good.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Well, they made their splash early with Arvell. I mean, Arvell's such a good
that was out of left field too, because I knew they were talking to a quarterback, but I didn't know they were talking to Arvell. The rumor was they were talking to Grady, and a couple guys, even some of the upper ups, saying they were in contact with you, and I was like, Mason ain't coming back. He's not. I wouldn't have known if he's talking to Jackson. He would have told me. And then the Arvell came. I'm like, Arvell from Valor, Arvell, and I had to look it up a second. I'm like, heck yeah, let's go. And he's been Mr. MVP this year so far. He's just Zach always jinx him. He's gonna have one bad play and it's gonna cost him the game. And he's done that twice.
That's my analysis.
He's done it. But yeah, and of course, since when you didn't start the season, and Grady retired and then come back, we were all like, people are asking us, who's the top two quarterbacks in the league? I'm like, well, it's Bain and Arvell Nelson. Yeah. And now, as the season's progressed, Robert Kent has just skyrocketed up the charts. Bain's nursing an ankle, and lo and behold, you arrived back, and basically, I think you're the missing piece in Columbus now, because that Columbus team is, with that defense they have, they were just missing that one asset. And Mr. MVP decides to show up like, hey, I'm going to carry the torch. Let me win 4 games and go home with a trophy. I'm like, hey, you know what? If you do win that game, I'm going to tell you, Mason, if Columbus is hosting the game and you win the game, you won't see that trophy. You're going to see some fat white guy running around with the trophy.
Can't you just hear the rivalry in his voice?
Like, no, this is mine. I'll just run up the screen and be like, then you're going to see some guy get escorted out of the facility. That would be me because I'll be having the trophy. You ain't touching it, Mason. You ain't touching it.
if we win the trophy, I just want you to know that, I'm not going to think about my family first. I'm going to think of my girlfriend. I'm not going to think about anybody. I'm going to think about your face. Just with your hands in your head like this. That's all I want. That's all I want.
Dang it, man. We left them off the hook.
All the spice in here.
It's Columbus, Jacksonville, man. What do you expect? It's Columbus, Jacksonville.
You can't expect any less, but
hey, I just know that Jacksonville is undefeated against Mason Espinosa this season.
Fair point.
Haven't played yet.
Technicality, it gets you every time. Mason, I'll be honest with you. You joined your last two games have not been a walk in the park by any stretch, and they've been completely different ways of getting a win. I mean, sure, Robert Kent has his own accolades. So really, I mean, that's as shootout as of a shootout you can get. Like that's arena ball at its core was what we got 2 weeks ago. And that both teams hitting that 70+ range in the scoreboard. And then last week, I mean, really having to squeak it out. I mean, how quick of the uptake has it been with this? I mean, looked like 2 weeks ago, a little bit, but you still got in there well. And then second half, I mean, something how 2 weeks, you get two crazy games. How do you analyze that? Is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that first game, that San Antonio game was, I mean, it was how arena football is designed to be played. I think you hit it, the nail right on the head there. That's the game that people, that's the game that took, to its heights in the early 2000s and took it to ESPN and CBS and all that stuff. Shootout, 79-76, all this stuff. Team scores with 3 seconds left to win the game. 3 lead changes in the last minute. Like, that's arena football. Yeah. And guys making plays all over the yard, defensive touchdowns on both ends. Like, it was a fun game to be a part of. It's one of the more fun games that I've even been a part of. It was my first taste of Iron Man. So that was
right.
added piece to it for sure. We knew San Antonio, just watching the film. I knew that you kind of threw their record out the window. San Antonio is a really good football team. There's no doubt about that. They've been hot, man. Kent's as good as they get. He's been doing it for a long time. He knows the spots. He plays really, really well. So it was fun to go out there and get that big win in front of the home fans like that. And then you go to Carolina and it feels like there's this buildup, because Carolina signs, Grady Hills, Malachi, Mike Green, who's a good friend of mine, who's an absolute dog, Jabari Buckley, who's just in Columbus. Gibson did his own thing, man, too. With I was joking with him, like, when he gets the band back together, because he got Corey Crawford, he got Deion Small back, he got Damien Daniels back, he got his core back too. So it really felt like two teams, kind of the unstoppable force, the movable object we're going to meet. And so I think that was fun, that build up. I knew when we were up, there was a point where we were up 26. We were up 20, and then we scored out a half. We were up 26. Yep. That you knew it was not going to be a blowout. It never is. That Carolina's too good of a franchise. Carolina's too good of a team that just doesn't have. It's like the NBA. There's always going to be a team that pulls out and separates, and there's a team that catches up, and it's going to come down to the last possession. Even happened in San Antonio. San Antonio was up by 10 points in the fourth quarter, and we were up by 10 points in the third quarter. So it's just like the NBA, and the way I see it, it's like somebody's going to pull away, somebody's going to come back. That's our communication to everyone on the sideline. I was like, guys, they're going to come back. There's going to be some kind of momentum swing, and we're going to need to score at the end to win the game. And that's what happened. And their special teams did it, man. They had two huge special teams plays that took possessions away from us. And that's how you win Ironman arena football games. You take possessions away from the other team. So credit to them for coming back, hanging in there. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Crazy games to do, but hey, hung in there strong. Lions are now in a really good spot here. Yep. All the teams are locked up, but the seedings are all over the place at this moment. I mean, between getting signings or getting players back, on rosters, the league's kind of all over the spot right now. You're going into Orlando this week. I mean, obviously you can't take anything for granted, but you, I mean, you can't think too far ahead, right? Are you guys even doing that? Jason Gibson 1-0 mentality. I mean, where are you at going against the Predators, getting your last home game potentially of the year?
Yeah, this is a massive game. It really is. For honestly, the reasons that you just said kind of there is that we don't want it to be the last home game of the year, and the only thing that we can do to control that is to win, right? The Jacksonville, Carolina thing, there's nothing we can do about that, right? Whoever wins that game wins that game. But the only thing we can do to help ourselves is go out and win a football game. That's our job. That's what we have to take care of. And that's our thought. That's our mentality. We've seen in the league this year, there's so much parity. The 1 through 4 seedings really isn't that big of a deal who you match up with. It's going to be a good game regardless. The big thing, obviously, is home field, at least in the first round. You want the home field in the first round, definitely for sure. So especially this year with them having a bye week in between the playoff game and the championship game, that home field advantage, a little bit of the sting is taken out in the championship game because you're not kind of playing that back-to-back travel game where, man, we're going to be playing that first round of the playoffs fresh off of the last week of the season. Like, travel becomes a big deal. Like, you lose a day of practice in there. So it's vital. It's important.
Nice.
But speaking of this week's game, you actually have to be a Jacksonville Shark fan because if Jacksonville wins and you guys win, you get the 2 seed. If Carolina wins and you guys win, you guys travel to Carolina. But it's unique. That's one thing about the playoffs. I mean, Zach discussed this on our last show. This could be the year that we can see a 3 seed and a 4 seed play each other for a title. It's very possible. All the 4 teams are basically very even. It's not like last year when you and Albany just destroyed everybody and separated and you guys went in the title game. Now we actually have good competition. Like, for me, I'm excited because this could be a year that a 4 seed can win the whole thing. This could be the year that a 3 seed can win the whole thing. It's something that we haven't seen before. And also, this could be the year that Columbus finally wins it all. Been in the playoffs every single time, been 3 championship games. It could be the year. I'm tired of making highlight videos of your face being depressed after you fumbled the ball against the Sharks.
I'm tired of watching them.
Right.
But speaking, you came in against San Antonio. It looked like it gave you a couple of drives before you finally got hold of the offense and got back to your form. But it looked like to me, as an observer, I'm not a player, you had difficulties with the football. Was that just a different texture of the football? Because there's some passes you throw, I'm like, well, that's a duck. That's another duck. What's wrong with Mason? Then in the second half, you were bam, bam, bam. I'm like, okay, there's Mason there.
Yeah.
It was that just getting the rust out of you the first 2 quarters of San Antonio before you finally got your stuff together. And basically the last couple 6 quarters, you've actually been the old Mason from last year.
Yeah. I mean, it's no secret. I mean, I'll kind of peek you behind the curtain here a little bit. We played that Friday night at 7 and I was meeting teammates at 4:00 for the first time. I hadn't practiced with the team. I literally flew in. You guys, I told a story earlier. My flight got delayed on that Thursday night. I didn't get in till about 1 a.m. to Columbus. Didn't get to sleep till about 2 a.m. Got up, did my whole thing, got to the arena. And I was not only meeting teammates, I was meeting centers, guys I was taking the snaps from for the first time at 4:00, taking my first snaps with them. So yeah, there's 100% a little bit of that growth. You had to kind of fit an entire training camp into 2 quarters there to try to, because I've played with all of the receivers on our roster, but some of them I haven't played with in a long time. Like Darian Townsend is the guy for us right now. And
yes, he is.
I played with him for camp last year and that was pretty much it. So there's a lot of that. There's a lot of learning, a lot of getting to know guys, a lot of, figuring out tendencies. And then also for me, I haven't taken a snap of live football since, or of any football in general, since August at the championship game against Albany. So, as a quarterback, everything travels really fast for you. And that's just part of it until it all slows down. And, so that first half was very much me trying to lean on, not veteranship, but games, like trying to draw offsides to get free plays, right? Trying to, use not gadgety plays, but stuff I think that's going to bust their coverage so I can get a free, someone running wide open, using the fullback in the flat, stuff like that, where it's like, okay, I'm not 100% right now because I haven't played a game in 9 months. We need to figure out how we can hang in this game until it clicks. And then that's what kind of that first drive out of the second half, we ran a kind of a sail wheel to Darian, and he caught a back shoulder out on the front pylon. And that was the first time the ball like felt good out of my hand. I'm like, okay, like it's going to be okay. Like we're going to be fine. The new ball is tricky, by the way. That's an underrated aspect in this league right now. That new ball is extremely tricky. It's, if you put it side by side with the TAM ones, it's much bigger because they've double bladdered the ball.
Now we did hear about that. We did hear about that. I didn't realize this for the passing. I know the kicking has been, at this point, folks, I mean, the kicking's an issue. Yeah, that's not even going to be a secret anymore. So the throwing, that's the first time I've actually heard someone say that.
It's not that it affects you negatively. It's just different. So once you get used to it, it's okay. But like you said, there were a lot of ducks in the first half. I'm like, that didn't quite come off right. That was something was weird about that. And the same thing with the snap. It just, until you get used to throwing it, it's a little bit different. But we finally we got the kinks ironed out right in time, didn't we?
Sure enough, you did. Yeah, I mean, good timing to have that, like I said, 2-0 stretch here. So, puts you in a good position, and you get more comfortable with your receiving crew to get those connections down as quick as possible, or at least better off. And you're right, Darian Townsend. I mean, we had him on this show. Dude has been, no matter who's behind center this year, guy's been a dog. One of the best at not only just his receiving, but he's been one of the better Ironman players throughout the league just so far this season.
Yeah,
all three aspects.
Homeboy was sure enough trying to like expose that Lions logo the whole episode. He was trying to say, "Hey, here, Lions logo. Here I am."
I was gonna say his promo. It was on point.
Yeah, he was. I was like, he either had to go through a speech with Gibson or Blair telling him, "This is what you got to say before you go on the show to broadcast and promote the Lions." So yeah, he was a good interview. Who else we had on this year with Columbus? Was it just
so far? Gibson? I mean, Gibson we've had Townsend. Mason here. And there's a few others I want to talk to at some point. Sure. It's funny, it's funny we're doing this interview. We can only do so many during the season. So obviously off season ones. I mean, we talked to Lonnie Outlaw before the year started, getting to chat with him up. So, it's just how it goes. But I mean, you get to settle in. You get at least going in this week, you're in a comfortable position for yourselves here. I want to revisit. I'm going to let Jim have a little fun with this. Because again, we talked before the show. You are becoming also an actor in your spare time, it appears. So here's what I'm gonna let you do, Jim. I want you to pull out your best Hollywood critic. Think of your best Roger Ebert and just tell me how Mason did when it goes into slamming into the dasher board. All right. Boy, it sure was it was a good one.
So this quarterback takes a snap, gets flushed out of the pocket, gets a little nudge, starts backpedaling, sees the wall, ducks his shoulder, and then flops into the wall, then hits the ground, looks up and throws his hand up. It's like, what, ref, did you see that? And the ref's looking at you and going, get off of the ground. And I was like, okay, I don't want to be the first one to do it. I saw the replay. The guys on the announcing crew even said it over in Carolina. They're good guys. They're very non-biased. They actually cover a game pretty legit. And they're like, the Oscar goes too. And I forget who the other guy goes, oh, definitely Mason Espinosa in this game. And they showed that highlight again. Then, of course, your brother just starts spamming Twitter, tagging us, tagging you. He's like, give us a rating of this. So I was like, I give it a 9 for the style, but execution about a 4. That's like, I know Mason, I know you're one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but you're not Tom Brady, okay? Tom Brady, you touch his hair, he falls down. There's a flag that's going from another stadium or another. So I'm like, that's a personal foul, roughing the passer. You can't get that type of, but you're close. I don't know. Maybe Hollywood may be looking at you to fill a role in the next Fast and Furious movie. I don't know how former football players get those.
The best part of the clip is, my brother pointed it out, is I hit the wall, right? I hit the wall. And as I'm falling to the ground, you see, I peek at the ref to see if he's watching. So I try to like peek at the ref to see if he's watching. It was a dead giveaway. It was a dead giveaway. It was pretty funny.
That's good. We had we had a good laugh over that.
Yeah.
Shout out to Blaine out there, for pointing that out to us.
Yeah.
That was awesome. That's good. Mason, I gotta ask here. Just kind of refocusing on the season itself. You coming in. I mean, how have you been? Has been interactions with, I guess, the QB room coming in here? I know Daniel Smith was on there week prior. How you guys working things out there? I know, like, obviously when late signings, late returns, people ask, what about the other guy? So I guess that's kind of my question. So how's it working with Daniel, at least?
Yeah. I'll be honest. Daniel, I didn't, obviously I never known, I hadn't known him before this whole process. And let's just call a spade. That's not easy. That's a tough position from his end.
Yeah. And that was a tough question. I'm just curious about that situation.
And wrap it up. Credit to brag on him. He has been the most positive, ultimate team guy, most professional response that I could ever imagine. I'm incredibly impressed with that guy. And he's just a sponge. He's like trying to soak it up. He's trying to talk after each series. He was really excited to watch us play Carolina, because that way he could get his eyes on Grady too. Because obviously Grady, that's a fun matchup to watch for sure, and especially watch Tommy operate. He's seen so many snaps in this league. Tommy knows what to do with the ball instantly. So credit to Daniel. He's been the absolute man, and he's going to be really successful in this league, and he's going to be really successful in arena football as long as he wants to be. It's just a start for him. He's going to be a special player in this league.
I'm happy to hear that. I said, again, tough question.
Yeah.
But it's something like,
a good question.
Yeah.
Though. It makes a ton of sense for sure.
Well, I appreciate that. And, like I said, it's part of what some people wonder about, but like you're saying, he's getting started out. So I think someone like that was a great way of looking at last week's game. You know, like I said, when you got a guy like Tommy Grady on the opposite side, you want to, getting out of retirement or not, you want to see if you can get something out of that.
How often do you get to see Tommy Grady live at this point?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's it's been incredible mentality and attitude from him, and Duke can play. He's going to be a good one.
I'm looking forward to where he goes then. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Mason, final question for me. Of course, let Jim know. I'll let Jim get in one more for sure.
Yeah.
My thing is, like I said, Orlando's coming up. Just your keys to the game you look at with the Predators. What are you focusing on? At least your side of the ball. You look at the Preds defense. Who are some guys you're watching out for in their secondary, or maybe on that front three?
Yeah, absolutely. They're a good football team. There's no doubt. There's no bad football teams this year. There's no secret. That's no secret this year by any means. Up front, and I'm biased here, but Kawan Alfred is a freaking problem.
Oh yeah. Well, that's fair.
I know him very well, and I know how important he was for us last year in Columbus. That dude's a problem. He's a very, very good football player. So obviously I'm biased there because I know him already, but the tape speaks for itself, and watching what he did last year speaks for itself. And then my man Jenkins in the middle for them. He's a stud. I think this is his second year playing arena ball. I think last year was a rookie. That dude, he's going to be one of the greats. He's really good. He's really good. He has really good natural instincts for arena football. He trusts his eyes. He sees it. He takes risks. He makes plays. So those are the guys that I think we have to control, obviously, and we have to do some stuff to attack for sure. But at the end of the day, it's about us, right? It's about us. We believe that, wholeheartedly, we have the best roster in the league. We believe up front we have the best, offensive lineman, defensive lineman, Ironman in the league. We think we have the best back end. We think we have the best receivers. So if we really truly believe that, if we play our best game, no one can beat us, right? So that's what it's about for us. It's doing what we do well, doing it with a ton of confidence, and doing it fast, man. Doing it fast. I think there was, you know, if you really look at it, the crazy thing is the San Antonio game, we scored 80 points. And the Carolina game in which we, you know, just came up just shy of 50, we had this, we were stopped offensively, this literally the same exact amount of times. The difference was in San Antonio, we had 17 possessions. Carolina, we only had 8, I think. So it's about, for us, when we're firing all cylinders offensively, it's us getting in and out of the huddle. It's us finding a rhythm. It's us pushing the football and kind of finding that realm. And I think if we're able to do that, we're a tough offense to stop.
Nice. Good breakdown. Good breakdown. I mean, Jenkins, I mean, what else can we've set it up on our show. So that one's right out of the gate. I mean, I'm not shocked you're mentioning Quan Alfred. Who are you kidding?
Yeah. Dude, he's a beast. I don't know if you guys have talked to him at all.
Kind of. We did a little bit. About 5
Funny
seconds.
enough, we actually did get a little snippet. Thanks to Lonnie.
He was on the Lonnie outlet. He's on the Lonnie outlet.
Thanks to Lonnie there.
I don't know if you guys know his story. It's unbelievable. I'm not going to ruin it, but that guy has overcome more adversity maybe than anybody I've ever met in my life. So he's a special guy. He's worth, you know, at some point talking to him. He's a special dude. Yeah.
Well, consider us, if we already had him on our list, consider him moving the queue up a little more.
There we go.
Thanks for the nugget. Get his full exposure this next time here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. He's the man.
Jim, anything else I might be missing here?
Missing? Not really. This is the third time that Mason has been on our show, so he's technically a co-host, not really.
Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, got to get a loyalty card.
And most likely, there's a chance that he'll be on the show again in a few weeks, but in person. So that's a possibility.
I mean, yeah, if things go the way they do, that is a possibility. So,
if not, I think he's going to go to the establishment in DePaul that you got tweeted about. That photo of some restaurant. But speaking of that, I meant to ask you about college recruiting stuff. How is that town? It's a small town, full. It has history, and you look at the rivalries. Their rival from I forget, was it the team? The rival, not
Wabash.
Crawfordsville. DePaul and Wabash. It's one of the top rivalries in your level of football. Like the other ones, like St. Francis, somewhere up in Minnesota. That's another one of them.
St. John's, St. Thomas, yeah.
Oh yeah.
To the fans out there, they don't know about when they think of rivalries in college, they think of USC, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, Auburn, Florida State, Florida. They don't think about the little rivalries that you guys play in. You haven't been introducing that rivalry yet, but what can you tell what that rivalry means to your school and for part of the state that you are in?
Yeah. Here's what I'll tell you about the Monon Bell. So I played in this conference. I coached in this conference at another school. So even though I haven't been directly involved in a Monon Bell yet, I'm very familiar with it because it's always week 10 of every year, and DePaul and Wabash are always really good. So there's always some kind of conference, championship implication somewhere in there. Here's what I know. We advertise every year between 10 and 12,000 fans which for small school is incredible. That's way above the norm. We have to bring in 5 extra bleachers into our stadiums and create a bowl around the field. And it is absolutely packed out, half black and gold, half red. It's alums from all over the place. It's really special because of the passion. Like, people really care about it. They really care about it. So it's funny. Me and my girlfriend, we did like a tubing on the river thing the other day, and I'm going by, I have a DePaul hat on, and some guy yells at me. He's like, "You guys aren't winning the Bell this year." Turned out I was a Wabash grad from like 2004. Like, I've never met this. He was just some guy floating by. And I'm at a recruiting event on the north side of Indianapolis the other day in Carmel, actually. And I'm at Best Buy, right? I'm at Best Buy and I'm checking something out and trying to buy something. The guy's checking me out, that's doing the checkout. I had a DePaul football shirt on, and he's like, "Oh man, my dad is an alum from '97. I'm coming to the Bell game this year. We go every year. I'm so excited." And Carmel's like an hour 15 away. Like, if I go anywhere with my DePaul stuff on within an hour and a half, 2 hour vicinity of here, all I hear about is the Bell game. People come from everywhere. They pack it in. It's incredibly passionate. and people care. We play for this big 300-pound bell, winner take all, winner gets to display it. Look at the history. It's been stolen like 5 times by the other school in some capacity throughout the time it's been played for.
Sounds like a rivalry.
It's a special rivalry, especially for small school. College Game Day picks it every year. They have a national TV deal with it. It's really fun to have something on your schedule that we can hang our hat on and we can look forward to be able to play in front of that type of atmosphere and those type of fans.
It is truly a special game. This will be my year I'm out there. By the way, if you're ever up in the north side, go a little farther down. It's not in Carmel, but go to Ale Emporium, man. That's a good wing spot. I don't know I'm just saying, good wings, plenty of brews over there. Actually, good pizza. That's
okay. I'm in. Say no more.
Just add on. I mean, hey, I live in the city, so I'm just giving you what I got. We went to
the garage the other day and ate some Brazilian food. We ate some Brazilian food. Yep.
I have heard so many good things. That is one on my list.
There we go.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, this table's turned, my friend. Now I get to talk
there it is.
My area.
I'll just leave.
Oh, he's gone. Come back. Gotta finish it up. And then you know what? Gotta finish it up. Mason, thanks for tuning in as always. We're always glad to have you on a bit sooner than we thought we were going to have you. So this is a pleasant little surprise. Really, and best of luck to you this week against the Preds and in the NAL playoffs here coming up in 2 weeks.
Man, thank you guys so much for having me. It's a blast as always. Good seeing you guys. Hopefully, we'll put a frown on Jim's face here before long, but let's get it going, man. I appreciate you having me.
Well, we'll have that episode maybe soon enough, or a complete reverse. One way or another, Jim will have a response in some fashion.
Either I'm celebrating or getting arrested.
oh no. I can do solo shows, but let's avoid that.
There we go.
Well, folks, thanks for tuning in as always to our latest edition of Turf Talk. Again, the episode of the Inside the Walls where we talk to players, personnel, coaches from the game that you watch, the National Arena League. Be sure to follow us along, by the way, at InWalls Pod. Again, that's at InWalls Pod if you want to tune in and keep pace with us and all the doings of things. And actually, Mason, where can they follow you? You want to promo your social a little bit here again?
Heck yeah, dude. Would love to. Twitter at Mason Espinosa 1, Instagram m.espinosa15, or fellas, just follow DePaul football. It'll get to me, right? Follow DePaul football. Let's go. And if we got any high school seniors out there, going to be high school seniors, have a GPA around a 3.5 and you can play some football, get at Coach E, man. Let's get you here in black and gold.
See, Mason's got it locked down. You got to have not just the talent, you got to have the grades too. It's a two-parter.
Two-parter.
I'm about 15 years past my eligibility.
Fair enough.
I'm about 15 plus pounds past my fitness. And also definitely older.
I'm too much a fan of a chicken wings and beer. Sorry.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's hard to pass up. Until next time, guys, we'll catch you in the next edition of Turf Talk. Again, we'll see who's on next week here. And be sure to tune in again. The Predators are going to be visiting the Columbus Lions this weekend. So if you're out in Columbus, Georgia, pack the house, possibly the final home game. That's their chance for a playoff home game, but you got to win. So pack that house. You can have a chance to help the Lions get that victory and possibly get one of those 2 home playoff games going into the semifinals. Until next time, everybody, catch you for our preview show coming up, your final walkthrough, which this week, it should be a double up. So if you're tuned in for this, you should probably pop over to the next one, get your fill onto what this week's going to be like and see how we think the Lions and Mason are going to do. We're not going to tell them here.
Fair enough.
But catch that. Until next time, though, remember one thing, Jim, got to do this every show, even if Mason or whoever's on here.
All right. This may offend Mason. Remember one thing: if you're going to be an actor, don't hire Mason as your director.
Until next time.
And don't be a jack out of the box.
There you go. I was waiting.